Ken, a guy here at TribLIVE.com. All right, bigger Steeler news. Ben's second baby or Maurice Jones-Drew in town?
Depends on who you're talking to. For me, Maurice Jones-Drew in town. Although I'm happy for the Roethlisbergers. They got their boy, they got their girl.
Well, will the Steelers get a second running back? I mean, other than Le'Veon Bell, they don't have anybody. The fact that they did have, and this is the leading rusher in the NFL from 2011. This would be, maybe he's not, the star has fallen and it falls quick with tailbacks in the NFL these days, guy, but this would be a pretty marquee signing for them. Report was not only was he in yesterday, he's going to be sticking around for day 2 today.
Well, I don't know what happened with James Starks. Did they cancel a meeting with him and then the big shots go down to Florida State Pro Day or go down south or whatever? But that seemed to make more sense. Would Maurice Jones-Drew at this stage of his career be happy to be a backup? And that's why I wonder how, maybe he will be. It has been 3 years since he's had all these nagging injuries, averaged 3.4 yards per carry last year. Starks averaged 2 more yards a carry in a backup role. It just seemed to be the perfect fit to me. Now, maybe they weren't going to be able to get him out of Green Bay. Maybe all along he really wanted to stay there. But Maurice Jones-Drew seems like a little bit of an over-signing to me for what they need him for.
I would think.
Or would they offer him, Ken, the opportunity to fight Le'Veon Bell for the starting job? At least give him that, say, we'll give you that chance.
Knowing the Steelers, they always offer the championship chase. They take them past the Lombardi trophies over there, and when it comes time to talking money, a lot of them get out of town real quick. But maybe not with Drew. Maybe that's not. He's been in the league 8 years, so maybe he didn't care about that much anymore.
And playing in Jacksonville, he'd be a guy that the championship chase would probably be very enticing too.
Right, and there are other good running backs still out there. No Sean Moreno, and Chris Johnson's looking for a trade from Tennessee, but.
And they probably need more than one guy, actually. I mean, just to fill out the roster. I mean, it's ridiculously thin all across the board with a lot of their positions right now.
Well, if you take the whole Steelers free agency as one big group right now, Mike Mitchell and Cam Thomas, 2 under-the-radar signings on defense, 1 starter, and maybe Cam Thomas will be. We'll see. They've re-signed Jason Worlds, which was probably the biggest thing on their agenda, but they had to cut Lamar Woodley to do so. 2 backup linemen, Cody Wallace and Guy Wimper in. Other than that, other than Will Allen and the long snapper, it's been the typical Steelers. Do they need Cotchery, a running back,
yes,
whether it's Jones-Drew or somebody else?
Yes.
And James Harrison to make it a real success? I mean, would you then say, all right, they're doing a nice job?
Well, I'm not convinced James Harrison's going to be able to do much for them. Maybe he will. I mean, they have to make that ascertainment. As you've said, and as I've heard in a couple of places now, we didn't see him being the dominant player that he was for a lot of his Steeler time here in Cincinnati last year. But what they asked him to do, he's graded out very well. I think the guy's always been a very hard-working player. I think you're going to get great effort out of him if you can get him for the minute. But I mean, I'm not convinced that that's a great signing, or to me it's trying to capture lightning in a bottle from 5 years ago. Again, I'm not sure it's going to work, but they do need bodies, and I think it would for the right price it's worthwhile. But how running backs and receivers get hurt, Ken. They got nothing here. They had nothing.
It's like with Harrison, it would be like William Gay coming back, Larry Foote coming, Matt Spaeth. They've done this more recently than you think. Have they worked out? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. William Gay was nice. They didn't work out in Arizona.
I think it depends on the age that you come back, and I think let's not forget that Harrison has had his back injuries and problems before he even left here. Played well the last half of the last year that he was here, but was a non-factor for a while because of injuries, and it wasn't his best year in Cincinnati. Even if he does grade well, it certainly wasn't the James Harrison that we're used to. So if they sign him and it's not going to cost him an arm and a leg, I think it's worth slinging it against the wall and see if it sticks. But I'm not convinced that James Harrison's back, the defense is fixed. That's not true.
So Steelers offseason grade, which I always hate giving out grades, brings me back to grade school, but D right now, bordering on C. Am I being too harsh? I
think that's a little harsh. I'd go between a C and a B maybe. Keeping Jason Worlds is pretty good.
That's good.
Both of us thought he was gone, and the Woodley would be the guy that would stay. I don't know. The Cam for Al Woods, I think, is a bad trade-off.
Maybe they don't want an A. Do you think Kevin Colbert even... He's fine with a C. Just pass me in the offseason. Yeah. I don't care about free agency.
Well, they better have the best draft since the early 70s this year then.
Ken Laird, Guy Junker will be on at all Steelers offseason here at TribLIVE.com.